Excellent. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with Amy Casari. Tell us who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Hello, ladies. My name is Amy Casari. I am the talent acquisition manager for Enterprise Rent-A-Car, Enterprise Holdings, and I am based out of the Greensboro area. I oversee the hiring for the western side of North Carolina, so that's the Triad, all the way down 40 up 321 to Boone, and all the way out to Asheville. I work for Enterprise, as I said, and we are looking for management trainees, which is our entry-level position. And we hire all over the state of North Carolina, all over the United States, all over the world. So Enterprise Rent-A-Car, we are in the transportation industry. We're the #1 provider in the transportation industry. And I am looking forward to meeting each of you today. I'm going to include my information and a link for you guys to connect with me in the chat box. I'm sending that right now. So happy to be here. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you. Awesome. Let's go to Karina next, please.
Hi, how are you? How is everyone? My name is Karina Padilla. I work for JELD-WEN. We focus on really strictly windows and doors. And Holly, I see, is here. She's joining me. She works for JELD-WEN as well. So thanks, Holly, for joining us. Holly is on the talent acquisition side. I'm in finance. I am the North America CFO and Senior Vice President of Finance. I've been with JELD-WEN about 2 years. So very happy to be here. I'll tell you that JELD-WEN too is always looking for good, diverse talent. We have summer internships available, as well as a phenomenal early career candidate program that Holly manages for us. So I'll ask Holly to share her information, since it'll only get lost if you probably email me directly. She's the direct link to our talent acquisition team, and is really the liaison between the universities and programs for summer interns and early career development. So thank you so much for having me here. I've been on your end so many years ago, so it's good to be here and give back. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Awesome. Let's go to Devin next.
Hi, my name is Devin Holub, and I have kind of a non-traditional path to my role right now as a strategic projects and instructional designer at RingCentral, which is a UCaaS and cloud-based phone, video, message, contact center company. We were Zoom before Zoom. We do enterprise level. Zoom was an early partner of ours before they figured out how to do it themselves. So that, but I started at Audi as a salesperson, and I was selling cars, and then I started training people, first the customers, and then the sales people and the service people. And then I had a customer tell me, you know, you're really good at this. So I quit Audi and I went to school full-time for my master's in instructional design. And I came on to RingCentral as an intern post-grad school. So I was like the oldest intern ever, and created my own position. And I've gone on to create my position I have now. Just so we'll talk a little bit about how you can identify gaps and fill those and be creative and get to kind of create your own roles. But I'm super happy to be here.
Thank you for being here. All right, last but not least, we have Kristen Owens.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Kristen Owens. So I work at Eastman Chemical Company in Kingsport, Tennessee. So my background is actually in accounting and finance, but took a very kind of different turn in my career. So I'm in our IT organization right now, and currently in a role called manager of our data management organization. So really focused on the quality of data for our functions and our businesses, and data governance. And one thing that I'm really excited about with Eastman is we've started some really awesome sustainability efforts recently. Just announced a really big project about chemical and mechanical recycling. So taking recycled plastic and putting it into a lot of our products. And just recently had a new recycled product called Triton Renew water bottle at Target. So really exciting.
Excellent. I know our sustainable business miners would love to hear that, more about that. So
Great.
excellent. Ladies, thank you for being here today. We have just a fabulous lineup and very different industries and backgrounds to bring to the table today. So I know that sometimes women may feel a little hesitant about certain industries because it may seem male dominated, or ones that you that you may not know a lot about or feel comfortable about. So I wanted to bring four very successful women here in some of those backgrounds to just to share more about that. So well, let's go ahead and get started with some of our questions. So I will ask one of you, and then of course all of you are able to chime in with your perspectives on all of these questions as we go along. All right. So let's see here. Karina, let's start with you. Tell me, who is a leader that you look up to and why?
You know, I thought about this. I could go two different ways, and so to not have to pick, I figure to be fair, there's really two. The first one is my mother, right? Without her, let's all face it, like a lot of times our upbringing, our mother, our parent figure is, you know, to be fair, I had the support, was fortunate enough to have the support that in all honesty, I would not be here if it wasn't for her. However, on a professional side, I think that the person that I look up to and can relate to the most is Sheryl Sandberg. So COO of Facebook for a variety of reasons. One is the majority of my background, although I'm in Windows and Doors, I've been here for 2 years, the majority of my background is actually in tech. I worked for Dell Technologies for, gosh, over 10 years. So my upbringing was in tech. Being a female in tech is also challenging. So I was able to relate to that. But not just that, her successful career, you know, within Google and Facebook, her challenges as a working mother, and in addition to her challenges as facing the loss of her husband, I think is something that I can relate to, and something that I really, you know, just love keeping tabs on kind of how she's doing and how she navigates through those challenges.
Thank you. Excellent. Ladies, anybody else want to chime in on that?
I think one of my biggest mentors is at RingCentral, and she was the senior vice president of our division called the Channel. And getting to know her, she comes across as quite a steely force. And once I really found out that she did what I did, she created this position, she led our division is now worth 70% of our total revenue. And for a multi-billion-dollar company, that's amazing. But her vulnerability and her ability to empathize with people and really see the diamonds in the rough and really connect with those people so they can fully contribute to the team is an amazing leadership quality. And I love learning from her. And I think that that's just, you know, when you find one of those special leaders and you connect with them to really grow that relationship. So it's something that provides a lot of quality interactions through your career.
You know, Amy, I struggled to think of this one because I feel like I'm always, you know, I'm always go, go, go. My eyes are kind of on the prize, and I'm in it always. And it made me really kind of sit and think, well, who is a leader that I look up to, that I respect, that I see as somebody that has faced adversity, has faced, you know, challenges, and has still been successful. And then I was like, oh my gosh, my CEO, Chrissy Taylor. So she is the granddaughter of our founder, Jack Taylor. And so, of course, you know, she was born with the Taylor name. So rightfully so, she is the CEO of our business, but she didn't get there just because of her last name. She worked very hard, starting off with Enterprise as an intern back in 2000, and worked her way up through the entire company and worked in almost every division of our company, and has been successful along the way. And the more that I've been around her and the more I've been in, experiences where I see her speak, and I just really see how genuine she is as a person. And I think that that's what makes her such a great leader, is that she truly cares about the people that work for this company, and she truly cares about the success of this company. And she identifies so strongly that it's because of the people that are here in the field, and our customers, that's what makes a difference. And it just makes me feel like I need to be as great as her. And I want to be as great as her. And though, my last name is not Taylor, and I know, I probably will never be the CEO of Enterprise, but I definitely want to, I want to share that brand that she has created for herself.
I love that two of you have they're amazing leaders within your own organizations that you're looking up to. Kristen, anything that you want to add to that?
So just something that I have found really interesting with some of the leaders that I look up to a lot are, they do these great things from like a work perspective and are leading huge efforts, making really innovative changes, but they also take the time to remember the small things, whether that's getting somebody a cupcake for their birthday or, having enough kind of emotional intelligence to be able to see when somebody's going through something or having, some kind of impact on their work, like taking that time out to focus on people, even though getting results and getting things done is extremely important, you have to take time to focus on people as well. So.
That's a really great point. So I know that many of you ladies on this call are just starting to chart your own leadership paths in the Walker College of Business and at App State. And oftentimes you may get that question of, your own leadership qualities and the leadership skills that you bring to the table. And that can be a hard thing to really understand, I think, maybe at this point in your life. And so I asked this question because it's a great way for you to identify, all of you, what your leadership skills are based on the type of leader that you're drawn to, and that really resonates with you. You can learn a lot about what you value in leadership and the kind of leader that you appreciate. So just a little insight there on that question. So let's go ahead and get to our next question. I think this is a good segue. Talking about leaders is also mentorship. So how important is it to have a mentor, and what steps can you take to build that type of relationship? Because I think there are very specific steps that we can take. Devin, do you want to start us off on that one?
Yeah, definitely. I also loved that Sheryl Sandberg book, Lean In, and it really resonated with me, how infrequent women don't identify the women around them as potential mentors. And I am the president of our employee resource group. That's for women leaders. And we have 270 employees who are part of our employee resource group. And I was just on a conversation today with a woman, fellow colleague, who was like, oh, well, I want a mentor. And I'm like, you have so many mentors around you. You just have to ask them, it's not like, will you be my mentor? It's just starting that relationship with them. And it is so important because here's people who have already been there. They've already had these struggles, and you can actually learn from them, but then they can be great networks for your career as you develop. And I think the most important thing for women mentees to realize is that it's a relationship. It's not a one-way conversation. My mentors say that I help them just as much as they help me. So it is that dual role and responsibility where you're giving someone something and then they're giving back. But look around you. You have so many people around you who could fill that mentorship role. And every time I've ever reached out to someone and asked for an informational interview, which has led to a lot of relationships and that I classify as mentorships, nobody has ever said no to me. I think women get so scared to have that initial conversation where men just do it naturally. You know, they go play golf or they go do this and then, oh yeah, he's a great mentor to me. They never had that like sit down, like, will you be my mentor? So, you know, just look around and see who could fulfill that. And then, you know, just start the relationship easy with a conversation.
Yeah, I think that there's so many different levels of mentorships too. You have professional mentors, you have personal mentors, you have the organic mentor relationship that just kind of forms with conversation. But you know, I'm thinking specifically in a business role with enterprise, and I'm thinking about, all right, so if I am looking to be better in sales, or I want to do better in XYZ, I want to look for that person or those people that are those top performers. And I want to be able to ask them, hey, can I spend some time with you? Can I get to know you a little bit? And then that's kind of like me shopping around a little bit and seeing, all right, well, of those top performers, who do I jive with the best? Who understands me, and who are we speaking the same language? And then I think from there, you're able to kind of weed out, you know, those that, you know, maybe aren't best suited for you, and then you can find that person or those people that are able to really help elevate you. And in turn, that's elevating them because they're learning how to be a leader too.
I think one thing that I'd like to add is a little twist to that. Although mentors are extremely important, I think it's also very valuable to recognize that there's a difference between a mentor and an advocate. And the truth is that we really need both. To me, a mentor is somebody that I go to for, you know, obviously advice, kind of what you see is what you get, the good, the bad, the ugly. They may not necessarily be my advocate. And my advocate is that person that's going to go to bat for me because I've earned it, right? Whether it's personal relationship or a professional relationship, it's somebody that if I need somebody to vouch for me with a recommendation, with, you know, if I need to call in a favor or whatnot, sometimes a mentor may not be the best equipped to do that. So I do feel that it's important to, one, differentiate that it's two different types of relationships, and a mentor is not always and should not always be an advocate. But it's also important that we recognize that I would say that both are equally important in the ability to open doors or to give you insight into certain things or connect you with the right people.
I think something else is, just to be really, when you do go into, you know, your mentoring sessions or sessions with your advocate, like, be really intentional about like prepping for those meetings. Like, what do you really want to get out of that time with your mentors, so that, you know, they feel like, you know, you're coming to them, you're trying to think through, you know, where are they really going to be able to help you. So I think them seeing that, that thought and intentionality too is going to be really good from their side as well.
Those are really, really great points. It reminds me of I met a woman named Angela Matherly, and she was a risk manager at Snyder's Lance in the very beginning of my time in the College of Business. And she talked about the importance of creating a board of directors. So Karina, to your point, you know, kind of thinking about your advocates versus your mentors, you need to collect a group of people that maybe come with different skill sets, different perspectives. They don't all necessarily have to be women. It's okay to have some men on your board of directors, so you get that diversity of thought and process to help you think through some of these decisions or crossroads that you're at, that you may need support at. So thinking about mentors, I love advocates, and maybe even your board of directors as you're walking through all this. These are great. All right, so I feel like our time is starting to slip away. It's almost 3 o'clock already. So we'll keep the ball rolling. So it may feel like women are held to a higher standard to prove their worth in the professional world. How do you manage the idea of perfectionism to combat impossible personal expectations? I know that's something that I deal with on a daily basis. So just curious what your insights are on that as well. And whoever wants to kick us off.
I'll jump in. I had an amazing mentor, and I worked with her on some amazing projects. And I asked her one time how she goes about just doing this. And this is off the record, obviously, like it's a safe space here, as you said. She said, "What would a mediocre white man do?" And every time I'm faced with that, I always come back to that theory. And it sounds funny, but you are enough. You're brilliant, capable women. You are enough. So just know that, yes, it may be struggle to be a perfectionist or think you have to do so many things, but a career really is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So just put one foot in front of another, do your best, and you are enough.
So I treated it like a sprint exactly when I started out. So worked insane hours, just tried to respond to every single email I got in minutes, just because I had some idea that doing all of that would make it to where people would think that I was great. And one of I did that all throughout kind of when I was an individual contributor, because I felt like that would make me be able to grow in my company. And one of the best pieces of feedback I got was really soon after I became a leader in my first leadership position. One of my direct reports just said that they wanted to make sure that I understood that me having those expectations of myself made them feel like they needed to work that way too. And that really made me take a step back and say, like, okay, I need to reevaluate this not only for myself, but for my team too. So I think that was just, we all make mistakes, and, learning from those are kind of really critical. But being able to kind of take that feedback and try to figure out how to make things different is really important.
So I think back to when I started with Enterprise, and I'll be honest, I never felt like because I'm a female, I can't be successful. And I don't know if that's just like me living in this like oblivious state of like, I'm just going to go in there and I'm going to do it because I'm competitive and I want to win and I want to be the best and I'm going to work hard to be the best. And so I didn't really identify the fact that because I'm a female, I have less of an opportunity than a male. And I think also that has a lot to do with my company culture, because we really and truly do. We love the opportunities for females and minorities to grow within this company because it just creates such an inclusive environment, and we learn so much from each other. But at that time, I wasn't thinking like that, and I didn't understand it all. And so I just wanted to go in and be the best. But to me, that did mean that I always wanted to look the part. I wanted to dress for the position that I wanted, not the position that I had. I wanted to make sure that I did everything correctly and that I stood out from a performance standpoint. That to me wasn't because I was a female. It was just because I wanted to get to the next level and I wanted to focus and I was driven to meet those goals personally. And now looking back, I recognize the fact that Enterprise really, we're so inclusive, and we recognize and we encourage that female leadership, that minority leadership within our community too. So.
I guess the only thing I would add, and gets a little different perspective here, is I found that the higher you move up in your career, once you get kind of very close to the C-suite, I'm not sure that it's more difficult. I think the truth is that a lot of times opportunities are available or given to you, or they think about you, or just by your network. As we move up the career chain, the truth is that for personal reasons, a lot of women do drop off of the workforce, you know, and so there are less females within the pool. Then our network tends to be potentially smaller, or just in, you know, different places. We're not seen in the golf course as much as, you know, where a lot of these opportunities are discussed. So I'd say I don't shy away from it, but I would, you know, to tell you that the higher up you go, you're not going to feel it. Is there potentially a double standard? I don't know that there's a double standard, because I think that once you hit a certain number of years experience and you build your brand and you've proven yourself, that speaks for itself. But definitely the importance of a network, the mentors, the advocates, and the more diverse that network is, the more opportunities and doors will be afforded to you. So just be aware of that.
Excellent, Karina, thank you. And Kristen, your comments reminded me a lot of, if any of you have read Amy Cuddy's book Presence, and she talks a lot about imposter syndrome. And so I think sometimes we have a need to be perfect because maybe we feel like we shouldn't be there, or that we have something to prove because we are there. So I remind you all that if you get the job and you're at the table, then you've already proven and earned your spot, right? So you just keep doing your great job, and that's what we need to focus on. And Amy, your comments about being within an organization that values you know, women and women in leadership positions. It's, you know, we have a lot of work to do as women to seek out those companies that value those things, and really think about where we want to hang our hats, and stick with and be with places and organizations that value those things as well. So great comments, ladies. All right, let's keep going here. So I want to know, have any of you ever heard the comment that you are bossy, intimidating, or too direct? And if so, how do you address those types of comments?
Those are words that have never been used to describe me, by the way. So, you know, I think the answer is probably all of the above at a certain point. And I think the most important thing here is self-awareness. I think that when you are a strong-minded female on a mission, all those words are used at any point in time, including within my family life. So I think the importance of self-awareness, there is an appropriate time to be all of those. And just, again, that self-awareness of what is appropriate and what is not appropriate. There's a way that you can be all that, but yet not necessarily be disrespectful. So I think it's an important balance, just for us to be aware. But, you know, different times and different circumstances call for different Karinas to step up, and you know, command a room or be in control, or you know, set certain things if things are going awry, or bring calmness to chaos. And so it's all about really kind of knowing your audience, knowing yourself, most importantly, so that you can adjust as needed.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, because I've never been called any of that to my face before. But it's also too, I think, you know, when you surround yourself with people that are your advocates or your mentors or your team, you know, they're able to remind you of, hey, you came across as a little sharp in that tone, and you know, and then that gives you an opportunity to kind of reflect on, all right, well, the point that I wanted to get across apparently was different than how it was delivered, and so I need to do a better job in my role in communicating and my articulating of the point of what needs to be done. But yeah, that's all I have there.
I would also say the more you really try to build relationships and trust with people, they will take that, even if it is you being direct, because they know, you know, I think at that point, if you built that trust and built that relationship, they know that you have either their best interest at heart or your team's best interest at heart. So I think they're a little more, they understanding, and everybody understands kind of the end goal and why you maybe have to be directed in certain situations to kind of drive forward. So.
Yeah, I think it reminds me a lot of about emotional intelligence, right? Our awareness of how we impact the people around us, how they're receiving us, and that all drives back to working on those leadership qualities. So yeah, but that's never wrong to take action, right? And to assert yourself in some of those situations. So all right, next question. How do you balance the different roles you fulfill as women? Because I imagine that each of you wears many hats. So Amy, you want to get us started on that one?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually struggled with this last week, and it is something as simple as meal planning. So I am a full-time working mom of two, and my husband works, I work. We have two young kids, and so obviously to make things run smoothly, meal planning is something that we are trying to do. Not like packaging my own little like lunch meals, right? But like figuring out what we're having for dinner, right? So last week was epic fail on that because we did not plan. We did not organize our time as being working people, being parents, and having some like relaxation downtime for ourselves. And so anyways, long story short, it's all about proper planning, right? It's all about making sure that you are able to determine what you need and how you plan it. So if I know that I've got work functions going on, I have to be able to give 100% to that, right? But I also have to give 100% as a mom because I can't just let my kids not eat, right? So really it's all about understanding and planning, but then also too, that kind of transitions into not only that time management, but fulfilling your roles can, I think, also mean a different thing in a workspace where maybe you have to be adaptable in different types of situations. So going to play golf, that might not be your thing, but you have to be able to be adaptable in that environment because it's a networking opportunity, or kind of those types of examples.
I think just there's been, there's not been very many great things that have come out of the whole COVID situation, but I think it has given or kind of forced everybody to have a little bit more grace for their coworkers. So I know I have two young kids, similar to Amy, and I've been on calls holding a sleeping baby or with my son wanting to play dinosaurs in the video. And same thing for dads, though. They're going through this too. And I think that's kind of, it seems, made people kind of take a step back and really be able to see, people have multiple hats that they're wearing, and we all need to be mindful of that, just with everything that people have going on right now. So.
And I just found a great trick. Take time, say no, take time for yourself to get actual work done. Being in a video communication, cloud communication company, we're on video meetings from morning till night. And I'm like, well, when do I get any damn work done? So I was working, late into the night, early in the morning, trying to get projects done. And I finally just had a brilliant idea that another woman colleague was like, oh yeah, you don't do that? Block it out on your calendar. Now I block several parts through the day, months in advance on my calendar, so nobody can touch it. And then I know that I have that time to go on a walk, to go get a cup of coffee, I'm at home, you can see, take a nap, do my work, actually get projects accomplished. So, saying no to meetings and things that you don't really necessarily, you can get, a update afterwards, and, feel confident enough to do that. It will save you in the long run.
And I guess I'll just finish up by saying that, you know, I think work-life balance means different things to different people. And the sooner we realize that balance doesn't mean 50%, 50-50 every day. You know, the perfect example is I was on what I have 3 children, full on mom mode all weekend. I'm in our Atlanta plant this week. So Monday through Wednesday, I'm in Atlanta. I head back to Charlotte on Wednesday. And then my father passed away recently. So I'm going to go into what I'll call daughter mode and flying to Texas on Saturday to check in on my mom. It's been a few months since Christmas. She's taking it very hard. And so, you know, I realized I was on full on mom mode this weekend because I'll be gone 8 out of the next 10 days. And is that normal for me? No, but do my kids know? Are they aware? Do they understand? And then once I come back, I'm gonna get, you know, I've been home all year, right? For the most part. So I think that it's important to recognize that balance can mean different things on different days. And sometimes it's 100% work. You know, I'm at home and I won't put them to bed because of demands of the job. I try not to let anything interfere on the weekends. And then, you know, there's other things, life happens, right? My mother needs me. They were married for over 50 years. They had a wonderful life and marriage, but now she's, you know, she needs to learn to be independent, and I need to help get her there with my brother. So, you know, we wear different hats. It's never balanced. I'd say you need to pick your priority of the day, of the week, of the month, and just stay true to yourself.
Yeah, those are all really good points. I'm sorry for your loss, Karina.
Thank you.
I lost my mom right before Christmas, so I'm feeling the pull of the different roles for sure. Yep. In that area too.
Yep.
Also considering too. All right, so I read a really great baby book 9 years ago when my son was just born, called The Baby Whisperer. You can actually train your children how to sleep. It's amazing. So, but she gave one piece of advice, and it's start like you want to finish. And I apply that rule to everything in my life. And it just means that if you want your baby to sleep with you for the rest of your life, go ahead. Do it in the beginning, right? They're going to be sleeping with you when they're 9. All right. So start like you want to finish. And I think about that too, in terms of our support system that we surround ourselves with. So my partner, you know, is my husband, Michael, and whoever your partner is in your life, start like you want to finish, right? So if your career is important to you, and you need them to help you prioritize your success, you know, start that way. Make sure that you have a good partner that's going to support you in both your roles at home and of course in the business world. So that has been a giant lifesaver for me, because he helps me prioritize and juggle those pieces too. So all right, so we have only 7 minutes left together. So let's go ahead and get to the next question. How can we help each other to advance women in leadership roles? I think we're seeing more and more of it happening. We're seeing some more female CEOs. It's a trickle. You know, I don't feel like it's happening fast enough, but how can we, the women in this room, learn to help one another to advance in those roles?
Be an advocate for one another. I mean, I cannot tell you the amount of amazing women in that employee resource group who have come together and really advocated for one another and supported one another and asked the company you're with. Right now, you know, as a tech company, we don't have a lot of women of color. And we brought it up to our leadership. Hey, this is a problem. We don't reflect our customers as well as we should. We need more women of color in roles and more women in leadership roles. I think as an employee, that's a relationship with your organization, that give and take. You both show up for something. So I think it's completely justified to ask for more women leadership opportunities.
Agreed. Anybody else want to chime in on that one?
Yeah, sure. So I would also say, yes, 100% be an advocate, build those bridges with each other, don't break each other down, lift each other up. And also remember that how you represent yourself is how you are representing being a female leader. So if you are showing that strong work ethic, you are showing that ability to really be a leader, the ability to thrive in, if it is a competitive environment, you are showing that you are, that strong, successful person. Not only do your managers see that, and that kind of builds that brand reputation of females in business, but it also, I think, shows those females that are starting after you, or they're looking up to you, and you're kind of setting the stage, and that's going to help continue to advocate additional women in leadership roles.
I would say, if you're an underclassman, find an upperclassman that can help you, that can mentor you and be your advocate as you navigate through school. If you're an upperclassman, I'd say, identify an incoming freshman or sophomore that you can help navigate through what you've already been through. And don't be shy. Don't be afraid to ping somebody on LinkedIn or any of us, or, your network is larger than you realize. And don't be afraid to reach out and say, hey, can I bounce something off of you? Can we grab coffee or a virtual drink, or, whatever, every once a quarter or once a year. Stay connected. It's on to us to do it for others, but we have to pay it forward, but also to a certain extent, we need to own it ourselves and reach out and identify those that we know will be enablers and be able to, to advocate and open those doors for us to help us get ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are great points. For you all, there's Women of Walker, which is the professional development program that I was talking about. Find your network of people within your own college that are interested in the same things that you are, that are interested in advancing women in leadership, and seek out those companies that have strong diversity and inclusion programs, that have employee resource groups, and find your people, right? Find your spot where you can connect with other people that want to support and are interested in the same things that you are. So I think those are two points. One in school, and then once you're out of school to advance that. So okay, we have 3 minutes left together. Let's see if we can squeeze in one more. Unless you all have questions, I can hold off. I only had two last questions on my list, and I definitely want to give those in our room today an opportunity to ask questions if they have them. So, and it looks like Sydney, you have a question?
Yes, I was going to ask, I guess any of y'all can answer this, but like, what makes you proud to be a woman that works for your company specifically?
I feel really seen and empowered by my company. My company, literally, like I was saying, I invented both of my roles that I had. It's even though it's a massive company, we have 7,000 employees, over $1 billion of revenue every year. If I went to a leader and I said, here's a business case and this is why I think it will work, and here's the data, they'll be like, okay, good, do it. Very empowering. So find a company that empowers its employees and gives you agency, because that's how you can fully contribute and actually, you actually get such a benefit. That's my motivation, is showing up to work then.
That's great.
I would say for me, it's, this opportunity to be at Enterprise, and for me to have grown professionally over the past 10 years, I've gotten a seat at the table, and I'm able to be involved in the decision making. I'm able to be involved in, some of those higher level conversations, and it just, it makes me feel proud, and it makes me feel confident that I've, there I was, this girl that just graduated from college, didn't really know what I wanted to do, and found my way. And I've just been like, just rewarded from my hard work, I guess I could say, to be where I am today. So I'm I'm grateful and I'm proud.
I'll add on to that. I guess for me, it's, JELD-WEN is a company, it's a global company with about $5 billion in revenue, publicly traded. And I would say I'm probably the second highest ranked female within the US, other than our executive vice president, who's our counsel. I would come second to that. I joined JELD-WEN in a different capacity. I was the head of corporate FP&A and investor relations. And I was approached by the CFO maybe 6 months ago who told me about the opportunity and asked me if I was interested in putting my name in the hat to interview for this role. Right. And now I am really the head finance person for all of North America with, I guess a team of close to 100 employees, where I obviously much smaller team. So I'll tell you that it's something that I'm very proud of the company, and that they afforded me the opportunity. But I'll also let you know that, we've all earned it. We've had to work for it. So it's important to find a company that truly believes in a meritocracy and really will open those doors and give you the opportunities to those who I'll say are deserving.
And so I think the thing that I'm most proud about is, so I am in our information technology organization, which is a very, very heavily male dominated field. So it is very frequent that I am the only woman in meetings, which is fine. But it's been really promising to see how many leadership positions recently have went to women, and for all of them, I can confidently say it is because they deserve that role, they worked hard, and they were put there for a reason. But there are so many opportunities opening up for women specifically. So,
and the women kill it.
Yes.
The women leaders in my company, oh my God, they're amazing. And the women salespeople, always on the highest, always on the best. So
That's right.
yeah, you're in good company, and believe in yourself.
Exactly. Ladies, thank you so much for your insights today. This has been really amazing, and we are unfortunately out of time. So we do have a couple of giveaways for our participants today. Thanks to Amy Casari from Enterprise and Devin from RingCentral for providing those to us. Kaylee, are you able to share your screen and
Yes.
having some